Once upon a chilling winter in a remote village nestled deep within a forest, there lived an elderly man named Samuel. Samuel was known throughout the village for his fondness for alcohol. He had a peculiar habit of stumbling into the local tavern every evening, drowning his sorrows in cheap whiskey, and causing a ruckus that no one could match. As the story goes, one particularly frigid night, when the moon hung low and the trees whispered sinister secrets, Samuel staggered into the tavern. His bloodshot eyes and trembling hands betrayed the extent of his inebriation. The tavern regulars watched with a mix of sympathy and irritation as Samuel ordered his first drink. Hours passed, and Samuel downed glass after glass, each one more potent than the last. The other patrons exchanged worried glances, knowing that this night might be Samuel's last. His raucous laughter was replaced by slurred speech and incoherent mumblings. He was beyond the point of reasoning, lost in a sea of intoxication. As the clock struck midnight, an eerie hush fell over the tavern. The room grew colder, and the candles flickered ominously. Suddenly, a faint, sinister whisper filled the air, so soft that it was barely audible over the crackling fireplace. Samuel's eyes widened in terror as he heard his name whispered in a voice like the rustling of leaves on a windless night. Samuel. He turned to find no one there, only empty stools and an abandoned bar. Panic seized him, and he clutched his glass, his knuckles white with fear. Samuel. The voice came again, closer this time. Samuel's heart pounded in his chest as he realized that the voice was speaking directly into his ear, despite the absence of any visible presence. "Who are you?" Samuel stammered, his voice quivering. "Your companion," the voice replied, chilling him to the bone. It was then that Samuel felt an invisible force gripping his hand, forcing it toward his glass. No matter how hard he struggled, he couldn't resist the relentless pull. His frail fingers closed around the glass, and he brought it to his lips, the liquid inside pouring down his throat against his will. Tears welled in Samuel's eyes as he realized that an invisible entity was forcing him to drink, controlling him as he spiraled further into his drunken stupor. The tavern patrons watched in horror as he consumed glass after glass, helpless to intervene. The invisible entity continued to torment Samuel night after night, driving him to drink beyond his limits. Each evening, the villagers would hear his desperate screams and pleas for release, but they could do nothing to save him from the malevolent force that had taken hold. And so, in the darkness of that forsaken tavern, Samuel's fate was sealed, trapped in an eternal cycle of torment by an invisible entity that craved the taste of his despair, and the sound of his drunken laughter turned to screams.